Max was a gentle stray dog with shaggy golden fur, wandering the sleepy neighborhood in search of dropped crusts and friendly pats. One drizzly evening, he heard a thin, shaky mew echoing from a tipped-over trash can beside the old bakery at Maple Street Corner. Curious and kind, Max nudged the lid aside with his nose and found a trembling gray kitten whose eyes glistened with fresh tears. The kitten, later named Luna, seemed younger than the fallen autumn leaves, her ribs fluttering like paper as she tried to cry louder. Instinct pulled Max closer, so he wrapped his front leg around her tiny frame, the way children hug soft toys when storms rattle windows. Luna calmed the moment-warm fur met cold fluff, yet her chest still rattled like a loose bicycle spoke whenever she tried to breathe. Worried, Max trotted down the street, balancing Luna on his broad back, while reins slid off his coat in silver ribbons. At the porch light of 11-year-old Tommy Miller, Max barked 3 times, a code the boy had learned meant, "Come help, it's urgent." Tommy rushed out in cartoon pajamas, spotted Luna shivering, and scooped the pair indoors before the clouds could roar again. Inside, the kitchen smelled of tomato soup, but fear tasted stronger when Luna whimpered and clutched Max's neck with her tiny paws. Tommy's parents, Mrs. and Mr. Miller, hurried in, marveling at the odd friendship blooming like a candle in the dark rain. Mrs. Miller fetched a towel, wrapped Luna gently, while Mr. Miller offered Max a leftover chicken strip as quiet thanks. Yet Max ignored the treat, fixing soulful brown eyes on Luna as though every second counted and no snack was worth stealing focus. The family exchanged glances that asked, "Why is he so serious?" But no one could read the answer written in Max's worried gaze. Tommy remembered the 24-hour vet clinic 5 blocks away and urged his parents to grab the car keys. With Luna bundled like a fragile gift, they all hurried into the van, windshield wipers fighting rain that drummed like anxious fingers. Max refused a crate and instead sat beside Luna on the back seat, pressing her close whenever the vehicle hit a puddle bump. Every whimper from Luna made Max tighten his hug, and every hug quieted the whimper, a silent rhythm nobody yet understood. By the time the van's headlights painted the clinic sign, Luna's mews were soft but steady, guided by the dog's calm heartbeat. Tommy whispered a promise that answers waited inside, unaware the night would change their lives forever. The clinic smelled of antiseptic and warm blankets, and the overhead lights flickered like cautious stars guiding worried hearts. Dr. Aisha Patel, the night veterinarian, greeted them with a calm smile that made even the dripping umbrellas relax by the door. She noticed at once how Max kept one paw across Luna's back, his body curved like a living shield around the trembling kitten. When Tommy tried to lift Luna onto the metal exam table, Max whined and rose on hind legs as though begging permission to stay close. Dr. Patel nodded, allowing the dog to hop up too, and the unusual pair settled together, gold fur against silver fluff. As the stethoscope touched Luna's chest, Max leaned in, ears flat, eyes wide, listening as if he also heard the irregular thumps. The kitten's heartbeat danced unevenly, fast one moment and slow the next, like a drummer forgetting the song during a parade. Concern flickered across the vet's face, so she ordered a rapid ultrasound while asking Mr. Miller to complete patient forms. The screen showed Luna's heart valves fluttering weakly, and a soft gasp escaped the nurse who assisted at the monitor. Meanwhile, Max nosed the kitten's cheek each time a blip spiked, and the readings smoothed whenever his snout lingered. Dr. Patel frowned, not at fear, but at wonder, because data rarely bowed so neatly to feelings. She whispered, "He is regulating her stress," and Tommy felt a chill, realizing the dog was acting like an experienced medic. A review of Max's microchip revealed he once belonged to a retired search and rescue handler who had passed away last winter. The file mentioned the dog had special empathy training, able to sense human heart rhythms after disaster collapses. Somehow that same gift now reached across species, tuning into a kitten half his size and a world apart from earthquake victims. Dr. Patel decided on blood tests, x-rays, and a full cardiology panel, but she also set a small blanket so Max could keep hugging. The dog adjusted the fabric with his teeth, making a nest where Luna could rest, little paws clutching his front leg like a lifeline. Every staff member paused to watch, and even the security guard wiped away a tear, reminded of stories where heroes wore fur, not capes. Before sunrise, preliminary results confirmed a congenital heart defect requiring delicate surgery within 48 hours. Dr. Patel squared her shoulders, thanked the family for bringing both animals, and promised she would fight the clock alongside their brave dog. The clinic prepared an isolation kennel for Luna, but Max refused to leave, planting himself like a statue at the threshold. Rather than force them apart, Dr. Patel moved the kitten to a recovery suite large enough for both, lining the floor with thick quilts. Monitors beeped softly, showing oxygen levels and heart patterns that dipped whenever Max stepped away to drink water. So he drank quickly, returning before the next beep, settling beside Luna and resting his chin over her tiny spine. Tommy stayed too, curled in a chair with a blanket around his shoulders, fingers tapping worry against the fabric. To pass time, the boy read aloud from a picture book he found in the waiting room, choosing gentle tales about unlikely friendships. Each story lulled Luna towards sleep, yet she woke if Max stirred, proving his presence more soothing than any human voice. Around midnight, a thunderclap rattled windows, and Luna jerked awake, eyes wide, but Max tightened his hug until her breathing evened. The storm knocked out neighborhood power, yet the clinic's generator hummed on, casting the room in amber emergency light. Shadows danced across walls, making the duo look like a single mythical beast with two heads sharing one hopeful heartbeat. Nurse Elena recorded data and realized every spike of Luna's heart rate coincided with lightning flashes, unless Max hugged tighter. She printed the graph for Dr. Patel, who stared at the curving lines like a secret language spelling trust. The vet murmured, his embrace acts like medicine, and decided to incorporate the dog's closeness into the surgical plan. She arranged for Max to stay in the operating prep room, where Luna could see him through a clear panel before anesthesia. Tommy helped shave a small patch of fur on Luna's chest for electrodes, whispering thanks that the kitten purred despite fear. The boy glanced at Max and saw the dog's tail beat slowly, a promise that everything would be okay. Outside, rain eased into silence, leaving only the soft ticking of wall clocks measuring the fragile night. Mr. and Mrs. Miller returned with hot cocoa for everyone, pretending they weren't frightened, though their smiles trembled. They watched their son, the dog, and the kitten form a circle of quiet courage stronger than the fading storm. When dawn painted the horizon pink, Dr. Patel announced the surgery would begin in 2 hours, and no one doubted Max would stand guard until the last stitch. In the sterile operating theater, bright lamps bloomed like twin suns above the table where Luna was gently placed. Max waited behind a glass wall, front paws on the ledge, nose fogging the pain every time he exhaled. Dr. Patel and the cardiac specialist, Dr. Nguyen, scrubbed in, their quiet voices mixing with steady monitor beeps and the faint hum of filtered air above. Anesthesia flowed through a tiny mask, and Luna's eyelids fluttered before sliding shut like soft curtains. The moment her heartbeat slowed into surgical rhythm, Max began to whine a low note that wavered yet never broke, filling the corridor with a sound both mournful and brave. A nurse noticed the monitor line smoothing each time the whine hovered, as though dog and machine shared a hidden pact, urging fragile muscle to trust the hand at work. Dr. Nguyen carefully opened the kitten's chest cavity, exposing the faulty valve that fluttered like a tired moth. Sweat beaded on his forehead despite the cool room, because operating on a creature so small demanded perfect stillness, and minds had to silence every stray worry. Outside the glass, Tommy pressed his hand beside Max's paw, both watching through tears and refusing to blink. Suture by suture, the surgeon repaired the valve, replacing tissue with a micro patch thinner than a flower petal. When Luna's heart restarted, Max barked twice, a sharp sound that startled everyone yet coincided with a perfect heartbeat spike. Time seemed to briefly pause, and even the vents stopped humming in the collective hold of breath. Finally, Dr. Nguyen whispered, "Close," and the team began sealing layers, the hardest battle apparently won. As the last stitch tied off, Max wagged his tail wildly, thumping glass, a canine drum of victory. Dr. Patel removed her mask, eyes glossy, and nodded at Tommy, who grinned through exhausted relief. Nurses lifted Luna to a heated recovery bed, wheels squeaking, and Max trotted beside the rolling stand the moment doors opened. No one stopped him. Hospital policy bowed to love, and the dog settled near the bed, head resting where Kitten could feel warmth. Post-op monitors displayed stable numbers, each beep a mini celebration of life renewed. Dr. Nguyen, usually stoic, wiped his eyes and admitted he had never witnessed compassion change vital signs so clearly. Dr. Patel, overwhelmed, knelt beside Max, buried her face in his neck, and finally burst into tears of gratitude. And while Luna slept under mild sedation, Dr. Patel reviewed new scans and finally discovered the full reason behind Max's unwavering vigil. One image compared heart activity with and without the dog's touch, and the difference glowed like sunrise over a frozen pond. Data showed stress hormones dropping by half when Max hugged the kitten, a result textbooks claimed impossible without medication. Remembering the dog's rescue training, Dr. Patel opened archived field reports sent from earthquake sites 5 years before. In a faded photograph, Max lay beside an injured calico cat, keeping it warm until help arrived. The report praised his rare empathy. That calico later birthed 3 kittens in a shelter. Records showed one was moved to a local foster home. Cross-checking chips, the vet gasped. Luna's ID matched that litter, so she was the child of the cat Max had saved. Realization crashed over Dr. Patel. The dog was not hugging a random kitten. He was protecting the legacy of a life he had already rescued. Tears filled her eyes, heavier than during surgery, because fate had woven a circle of kindness no human hand could plan. She printed the proof and told Tommy, explaining the amazing link in words simple enough for any kid. Tommy's jaw dropped, and he stroked Max's head, whispering, "You remembered her, baby," while the dog thumped his tail softly. Mrs. Miller, listening, dabbed her cheeks, and even Mr. Miller cleared his throat loudly before nodding respect toward the canine hero. Dr. Patel knelt, voice shaking, and said aloud that Max's heart recognized Luna's scent, proof that love imprints deeper than scars. She admitted she had believed science explained everything, yet this reunion felt like a miracle bigger than numbers on a chart. The medical staff gathered as she spoke, each holding printouts that told a story grander than any lecture hall lesson. One nurse whispered, "We heal bodies, but he heals spirits," and the words settled over the group like warm sunlight after rain. Max licked Luna's ear, and though she was still drowsy, her tiny paw stretched to touch his nose, sealing the bond. Camera phones appeared, capturing the moment that would later inspire thousands across social media to donate toward animal rescue. Yet inside the room, the greatest applause was quiet, a shared look among people humbled by a dog's memory and a kitten's fragile courage. Dr. Patel said the surgery was a success, yet the deepest cure had been Max's love, and happy tears filled every eye. Days passed, and Luna's strength grew like spring leaves after hard frost, each breath smoother than the one before. Max never left her side, and nurses jokingly awarded him an honorary badge that read Guardian-in-Chief. When the time came to discharge Luna, Dr. Patel invited local news reporters, eager to share a story bright enough to outshine gray headlines. Cameras rolled as Tommy carefully placed the kitten in a tiny carrier, but Luna mewed until the door opened and Max could stick his nose inside. Laughter bubbled through the lobby, and the anchors dubbed the pair the Heartbeat Duo, a title that made Tommy beam with pride. Viewers donated crates of kitten food and chew toys, yet the family requested gifts be sent instead to shelters that trained rescue animals like Max. Inspired, the clinic launched a program matching gentle dogs with fragile kittens for comfort therapy during recovery. Posters showed Max and Luna snuggled together, reminding visitors that bravery is sometimes small, furry, and wears no cape. At home, Tommy turned the guest room into a cozy den, lining shelves with books about animal heroes and tales of kindness. Luna now chased yarn balls across soft rugs, but whenever her energy dipped, she wandered back to Max, curling beneath his chin. The dog responded by wrapping one leg over her, a habit that would forever be their secret handshake. Mr. Miller installed a backyard camera, and nightly videos of the duo hugging under moonlight gathered millions of views online. Teachers used the clips in class to discuss empathy, and students wrote essays on how animals model friendship better than cartoons. Dr. Patel visited often, monitoring Luna's heart, and each stethoscope reading echoed health and harmony. She confessed to the Millers that the case had reshaped her belief in what medicine alone can achieve. One afternoon, she presented Max with a golden tag engraved, "Hero of Two Hearts," and the dog licked her hand in solemn thanks. Luna batted at the tag, making it jingle, and Max responded with a playful bark that sent her scampering into a sunbeam. Tommy watched, notebook in hand, already plotting a future comic series starring his pets as galactic peacekeepers. Looking on, Dr. Patel whispered that every hug between dog and kitten was a reminder that love remembers its debts and pays them forward. And as the sunset painted the sky orange and violet, Max hugged Luna once more, ensuring her brave little heart beat steady and strong long into the night. At the summer fair, Max the dog and Luna the kitten rode onto the main stage as honored guests, and cheers drowned the brass band. Rows of brightly colored balloons framed a platform, while children leaned over rails for a glimpse of the Golden Guardian and his gray companion. Tommy walked beside them, heart thumping louder than the speakers pumping pop songs across the bright park lawn. Mayor Khan tapped the microphone. The crowd hushed in wonder, eager to hear how one hug had united animals and people alike. He said kindness travels farther than thunder, and applause rolled like warm waves across picnic blankets and food stalls. Max wagged so hard the boards trembled, making Luna sneeze an adorable squeak that scattered confetti from her whiskers. Behind them a banner reading Fair of Friendship fluttered, each paw print painted by students who traded recess for brushes. Dr. Patel stepped forward, holding a shining heart-shaped plaque announcing the new Max Luna room for frightened pets at the clinic. A poster showed the first puppy-kitten pair already napping together, proving gentle company heals quicker than solitude. Camera flashes popped like fireflies, but Max stayed calm, blinking only when Luna nuzzled his ear in quiet reassurance. Tommy thanked everyone for choosing compassion and reminded them that real heroes sometimes simply stay instead of fly. The mayor handed him a tiny silver city key. Tommy clipped it to Max's collar, where it chimed like a bell of trust. Luna batted the key until it rang, and a brass band launched, "You've Got a Friend," weaving melody between popcorn carts. Guided by Max, the kitten greeted families at the bustling adoption booth, and applications tripled within minutes, proof of hope spreading fast. Nearby, a chalkboard tallying donations filled quickly, numbers climbing like bright kites in a fresh breeze. An ice cream vendor offered Max vanilla. He nudged the creamy cone to Luna, whose delighted lick drew gentle laughter and more flashing cameras. The sun slid lower, painting everything gold, while cameras captured the Ferris while glowing behind the brave duo. A sweet evening breeze carrying hay, roasted corn, and frosty lemonade scents twitched Luna's ears as Max scanned the distant green hills, checking that all was safe. Satisfied, he lay by the stage, letting Luna curl into the space between his paws where her journey had begun. As Ferris wheel lights flicked on and stars rose, the town saw its greatest wonder was a dog's promise to hug a kitten whenever the world grew scary.